It is football season, high school football season, and we always go back now. Friday Night Lights. You have all the T-shirts that are made up Friday Night Lights. It is actually the 25th anniversary of the book Friday Night Lights, and joining me to talk about the 25th anniversary of his book Friday Night Lights, Buzz Bissinger. Buzz, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for coming on today. It's been 25 years. When I mentioned that to my producer, Jody, he kind of gave a look like, oh, my goodness, that seems like such a long time ago. When you take a look back on the obvious success of that book and just how it has stayed so popular, what do you credit that to?
Well, I've thought about that a lot. And I think I credit to that somehow, some way, not really knowing it, except I wanted to write a good book, I tapped into something that truly is timeless in American culture, which is high school football. The beauty of it, the excitement of it, this very intense, unique relationship that teenage kids have with their town, playing for pride of team and town and community, and I think Friday Night Lights captured a lot of that. I've had thousands of people come up to me and say, you know what, you were writing about my high school. I was one of those kids that you wrote about, or I knew one of those kids, and that's why I think it's lasted. And also, it's lasted because a lot of what I discovered and found was shocking, was disturbing, and that's a timeless tale as well, because we're more obsessed with high school sports in this country than ever. And, frankly, at this point in time, Odessa, is really nothing in terms of what they've done. I mean, they're shocking. Well, there's the shocking case in San Antonio that I'm sure you saw over the weekend.
Right.
There's a shocking case in Washington State where I spend a lot of time, in Bellevue, Washington, outside of Seattle. I mean, just shocking. And I give Odessa a lot of credit. I think they've made a lot of good changes. Of course, Permian hasn't been as good, but they look pretty good this year.
What do you think? Besides obviously, some of the changes in, with social media and how, what high school sports has covered. What are the changes that you've seen maybe in down in the Midland, Odessa area when it comes to high school football, maybe just other places with high school football?
Well, I think in West Texas, I'm no longer an expert, but look, winning breeds popularity. And when I was there in the 1980s, you won at Permian. It was pretty much a foregone conclusion you were going to go to the quarterfinals. You often went to the semifinals. You often went to the state finals. I think in the 1980s they won the state championship, 4 times? I mean, that's incredible. When you're that successful and that popular and that storied and that heroic, because they were always undersized, people become fanatics, and that's what's going to fill up a stadium. Permian, I think since '94 has not been to the state finals. They look good this year, but the landscape of high school football in West Texas, as we all know, the center has shifted to the Metroplex and the Dallas suburbs, to the Allens and the Euless Trinities and the South Lake Carols, and to Katy outside of Houston. And these schools are big. They build these incredible stadiums that make Ratliff look almost like nothing, and they're almost like semi-pro teams to me. And I think it's a shame. I think it's going to be very hard to find kind of a Cinderella tale of a West Texas team making it to the state finals and winning. I think it's almost impossible.
We're visiting with Buzz Bissinger, author of Friday Night Lights. 25 years later, you've been able to catch up with some of those that were featured in your book. How did that go?
Well, it was spiritual in the sense that, I had formed a great bond with these players in 1988. We went through this incredible season, and that's another reason for the popularity of the book. It was just a great story. I mean, people read books with great stories, and this had a great story with twists and turns and excitement and tragedy that I could not make up, and this is all a book of nonfiction. I wanted to see them again. I wanted to do something real, so there's a very extensive new afterword in the 25th anniversary edition, so I took a swing through Texas, 1,000 miles. I saw all the players I'd written about. It was very emotional. It was very important to me personally, and, some are doing well, and some, like Boobie Miles, are really, really struggling.
Visiting with Buzz Bissinger, and I know you're on a schedule and you've got other interviews, and I want to appreciate you for coming on. But one last question that I had for you. I keep seeing these articles that pop up. High school football going down. Parents staying away from high school football. Overall, when you take a look nationwide, with the concussion issue and with other issues that are out there, where do you see the direction of high school football and youth football going?
Well, I see stories like that, and then I saw another story that participation is pretty much constant and is not going down. Look, Friday Night Lights makes the point, and I think this is the point, that it's not just high school football that's important. It's what high school football does. It does bring communities together. It does bring people from all sorts of different ethnicities together. It does make kids, for a certain moment in time, noble and heroic. That bond and that connection you are never, ever going to take away. Some kids may not play it as much. Maybe you won't have the fan base, but there is such a unique role that high school football plays in Texas, all over this country, that you're not going to get rid of it. My fear is that certain programs are so good and so big and so professional and now spend so much money, like in Allen, Texas, that no one's ever going to be able to compete with them. That's my bigger fear.
Author Buzz Bissinger, you're going to be down. You're going to be throughout Texas this month, and I'm going to list all of those. But you'll be in Odessa and Midland coming up very soon on the 14th and 15th,
right.
and Abilene on the 18th, and we'll list all those. I think it's going to be, from what I've read, a very interesting discussion that you're going to have at the Midland
that's
Library.
That's going to be a great event. That's going to be a great event with Roy Williams, obviously the great player from Permian, played in the pros, Pete Berg, the director of Friday Night Lights, and Lloyd Hill, who was on the 1988 team and an All-American at Texas Tech. That's worth it, folks. That's going to be a great event.
That's going to be great. That's on the 15th at 5:30. Hey, Buzz Bissinger, appreciate your time today.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great one. Again, Buzz Bissinger calling into the show today, author of Friday Night Lights. Half Price, he'll be at Half Price Books in Dallas, 2 p.m. on the 19th, in Austin at Book People on the 20th, but closer to home, down in Odessa at Hastings on the 14th at 7 p.m., the Midland County Public Library. That's going to be a very interesting discussion, panel discussion there that he will be on at the Centennial Branch for our Midland listeners. That's at 5:30 on September 15th. Then at the Yucca Theater in Midland, another panel event, 7:30 on the 15th. And then at the Abilene Public Library at 12 p.m. on September 18th.